This is today
This
for
briefing is
working
brought to you
for.
by NetSuite,
Damn, that's
by
loud.
Oracle,
9
the world's
hours.
#1
Yay.
cloud business system.
Good evening. This is your CNN News
Holy
Briefing
shit.
for Thursday, July 23rd.
Where's the wind blowing?
The U.S. reported more COVID-19 cases in the past 2 weeks than it did for all of June. That alarming milestone comes as some U.S. leaders admit parts of the country reopened too soon. In a Fox News interview, White House coronavirus response coordinator Deborah Birx said a surge in new cases across the South and the West links back to Memorial Day travel and reopening. Senate Republicans are expected to formally release their $1 trillion COVID-19 stimulus bill Thursday without a payroll tax cut. The White House had championed the tax cut, but now supports the bill moving forward without it. According to people briefed on the bill, the proposal includes direct payments, school funding, and a temporary unemployment benefits extension.
Lovely.
In a news conference, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said she would not accept a temporary extension of unemployment benefits. Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler was tear-gassed in a crowd of protesters in downtown Portland early Thursday morning.
Damn.
Video from a New York Times journalist shows Wheeler wearing goggles and a face mask while holding his nose and closing his eyes in distress. He told a Times photographer,
Was he protesting?
"I saw nothing that provoked this response." Portland police say they did not deploy the tear gas, and there is nothing to indicate that the mayor was targeted.
What the
Wheeler told CNN, "We did not ask the feds to be here, and we're demanding that they leave." Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer charged in the death of George Floyd and his estranged wife, faced 9 felony income tax charges. That's according to the Washington County, Minnesota attorney. Court records show that Chauvins did not file
Google.
income tax.
Repeat that.
Sure, I think you want to open calculator. Is that right?
Returns in the state for some years, and
I wanna hear
underreported
that
income
again.
for others. Each count carries a maximum 5-year prison sentence and a $10,000 fine. Chauvin was charged with second-degree murder after kneeling on Floyd's neck during an arrest. Kelly Chauvin, who filed for divorce last month, is not in custody, according to a court filing. A former Nazi concentration guard was convicted in one of the last Nazi trials in history. The 93-year-old man is identified as Bruno D. He was charged with more than 5,200 counts of being an accessory to murder while he was guard at the Stutthof concentration camp in Germany from 1944 to 1945. An estimated 65,000 people were murdered during the Holocaust at Stutthof. That's all for your CNN Evening News Briefing. For more on these stories and the latest headlines, visit CNN.com.
And people survived that. People are alive from that. And they're seeing the shit they saw back then now.
You need to be smart.
Like, a Jewish man who survived the Holocaust literally said, I saw this happening, this is happening again. Like, what the fuck?
20,000 companies trust NetSuite to make it happen. Make yours one of them. Learn more by visiting netsuite.com/top5. From there, you can schedule a tour of NetSuite and get their free guide.
I'm just listening to news,
Businesses need to take
hanging out.
now. That's
Put that in my vlog channel.
netsuite.com/top5 for your free guide and product.
Nothing happens.
From CNBC Tech
better
Check
to
at
do this.
1:43 p.m. today.
One of the news is too loud. Hey Google,
I'm Kate
70%.
Rooney, and here's your CNBC Tech
Hopefully you
Check.
can still hear it.
A
Hey
new
Google,
day, a new
80%. It's always like this.
milestone for Tesla. The electric vehicle maker reported its 4th straight quarter of profits, clearing a hurdle that could lead to its inclusion in the S&P 500.
What the
Tesla
fuck?
did not shift its 2020 deliveries target and also announced it will build its next Gigafactory plant just outside of Austin, Texas. Tesla has been the stock story of 2020, up nearly 300% so far this year, and more than doubling over the past 3 months.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Meanwhile, Microsoft is under pressure.
You got stock on
following its
Tesla,
latest
good job.
The
Fuck
company
Elon Musk
reported
though.
a surge in
He's a prick.
revenue, but Wall Street wanted more and focused on slowing growth in its Azure cloud business. Microsoft also cited weakness in its LinkedIn
And that's why he
business,
makes money, because he's
citing
a
the
prick.
weak job market
Only
and
assholes
a
make good
slowdown
money
in
because they
ad
know how to be
spending.
assholes
The
to other
company
people.
did, however,
How to take
benefit
advantage of them.
from the work from home
Wanna be
trend.
rich?
Xbox
Gotta be
revenue
a
surged
fucking asshole.
65% last quarter. And Twitter shares
I don't want to say
are
asshole. You
soaring
better be
and much
very
better than
assertive. It's
expected
just sometimes
growth,
those
growing
assertive people
monetizable
turn out to be
daily active
assholes, like
users
Elon
by
Musk.
34% since last year. The company also added 20 million new users last quarter, far exceeding expectations of a 7 million user jump. Still, total
I don't know.
revenue
I
did
wasn't paying
decline
attention. I
more
was
than
complaining.
expected, falling 19% versus last year, hit by a broad pullback in advertising. And that's it from the West Coast. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
I'm just listening
From
to the
Bloomberg
news.
First
It's
Word
all
at
at night.
7:37
Oh,
p.m.
listen to those
today.
crickets. Can you hear the crickets?
The coronavirus marches
See if you
on
can
as
hear
drug
'em when
companies
that's
race to
happening.
find a vaccine. U.S. cases top 4 million
And listen to that
and
at the same
have doubled
time.
in the space of just 6 weeks, while deaths in California and Florida set unwelcome new highs.
Jesus.
The World Health Organization says China now seems ready to allow a detailed study of the pandemic's origins, with investigators expected to travel to Beijing soon. Meanwhile, coronavirus infections continue to rise in Asia, with Hong Kong reporting 100-plus infections for a second day. Social
Jesus.
distancing rules are being tightened amid the third wave, but the government insists a new lockdown isn't imminent. Tokyo set another infection record with more than 360 new cases as the country enters a long weekend. New research says cases are increasing among 40 and 50-year-olds.
Damn
And
it.
the coronavirus pandemic is likely to see India missing budget estimates as government finances come under pressure. Economic Affairs Secretary Tarun Bajajah says spending targets may not be achievable, and the current fiscal year may be, quote, lost. A Bloomberg survey
I got
expects
bit
the
earlier.
deficit to widen to 7% of GDP. That's twice the government's original goal as the pandemic hits tax revenues and resources. And the World Health Organization is hitting back at the Trump administration, saying its comments about being bought by China are untrue and unacceptable. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said this week that the health body is
Unacceptable!
justifying Washington
Oh!
out. The WHO rejects that.
That's how I
as its
feel, like,
only role is to
anybody
improve
uses that
global health. And global news, 24
in real
hours a day
language.
on air and
And you know
online.
why?
Quick take, powered by more than
It just sounds
2,700
stupid.
journalists.
That's why they use it
and
for
analysts in
the
more
Lemon
than
King in
120
Adventure
countries.
Time.
I'm Karina Mitchell. This is Bloomberg.
From DW Newsbrief at 11 p.m. today.
It's untrue and unacceptable. I tell you what now.
This is DW News, and these are our top stories. Anger and unrest are growing in the United States after President Trump's announcement that he will send federal troops into several Democrat-controlled cities.
Oh my fucking god.
In Portland, Oregon, there have
Fucking
been
that's
renewed
that's
clashes
literally
between protesters
tyranny
and
right
US
there.
federal agents.
I'm gonna send the army to stop you.
A German court has convicted several
That's
men
using
of
military
2018
power at
gang
innocent
rape
people.
of an 18-year-old woman in the southern city of Freiburg. 10 of the 11 men received jail sentences.
Oh my god.
The case was sensitive in Germany because most of the men involved in the assault are refugees.
Jeez. That sucks.
South Africa's
That's gonna
president,
give a
Cyril
lot of
Ramaphosa,
fucking
has announced that
firepower
public
to
schools will close for
lot
4
of
weeks
racists.
as confirmed coronavirus cases rise to more than 400,000. He said it was important to ensure that schools did not become sites of transmission.
Which will happen. I mean, they've been wrong this
The
whole
latest
fucking
round of
year.
post-Brexit talks between the UK and the European Union have ended with a downbeat assessment.
I mean, the
from both
Republicans
sides.
are saying opening
The
everything
chief
up is okay
negotiator,
now,
Michel
and
Barnier,
the
says
virus
a trade
is
deal
going
looks
away.
unlikely. His UK
Trump.
counterpart, David Frost, says there's a long way to go.
Trump.
This is DW News from Berlin. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at DW News, or visit our website.
Oh my god, this is gonna be fucking shit. It's gonna get worse because they're trying to fucking force everything to be reopened.
From
'Cause
NPR World
the
at
rich people are
3:22
like,
p.m.
I'm losing
today.
money here.
The head of Jordan's government has a warning for Israel and for its ally, the United States. Jordan's Prime Minister.
Of course, I'm just being very human right now
Omar
because like
Razaz is a
living in the world.
longtime Jordanian political figure who is now
I'm more
the
of the
top
idea
official
that
beneath
everything
Jordan's
happens
King
for a
Abdullah.
reason, and it's just
Jordan
kind of showing our
is a
world
very
how
tough
stupid it is, you know,
neighborhood, and
how dumb it is, and how
neighborhood's been tough
it
for,
values money over people,
decades.
profit over
Jordan
people.
borders Syria and Iraq and also Israel. If you look at a map, you see that Jordan touches the occupied West Bank, which is called that because it is the West Bank of the Jordan River. The West Bank is territory that Jordan controls
Territories,
until
all that
Israeli
bullshit,
troops
all these
took it in
lines that we put on
1967.
ourselves, you know.
Jordan is one of
Can't
the
fucking
few
share
Arab
shit.
countries that have
No,
since
that has
made
to
it
be
peace
mine.
with Israel.
It shows
But it is
power.
watching with alarm as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu promises to annex portions of the West Bank. Israel maintains that it has both security needs and
We
historic
literally
ties to
write
that
on
land,
pieces of
while the
paper
Palestinians who've long
and
lived there
documents
want it for a future state.
to say
What
that
happens
this
if
land
Israel
belongs to
begins
us.
annexing territory in the
Pieces of
occupied West
paper.
Bank,
Think
as
about
the
that.
Prime
Pieces
Minister
of paper. And we
Netanyahu
give that
promised
much
to
power
do?
to that piece of little paper.
Well, we hope it won't happen.
That's crazy.
Because,
Because
Jordan
now
and
we're
His
so
Majesty the
stuck
King
in that fucking way that if you break it, you're
just
unlawful.
and peaceful settlement in
We
the
can't just
region,
like share
which includes
land
a
and
two-state
shit.
solution
Can't just be nice
with
to
a
each other.
Palestinian state with Jerusalem as its capital.
Gotta get more
Any
power.
unilateral
Gotta
action
fight.
undermines that.
Gotta
and
kill
puts
each other.
The whole region, and if I might say,
For
the
things that we
world
can share
in a
that we all
dicey
have enough
situation.
of.
This is not in anybody's interest,
Whatever.
frankly, at all. And if the two-state solution becomes
I
not
think that's
viable
why
because of this annexation, then my question
it just sucks
is,
because like we all have
what
to
is
figure
the
that shit out.
alternative? What
But
is
like
the other
to
option?
stop being a bunch of
Is
dumbasses
it,
and actually
are they thinking
realize,
of,
hey, maybe we can all
one-state
just help each other.
democracy, for two people, or is it going to be a state
then-
of apartheid, which the world was glad to not have in its membership
Till then,
since the end of
we'll
the
just destroy
South
ourselves.
African apartheid state?
Right now we're doing it.
What happens if this annexation goes ahead? Is Jordan in a position of saying, we will advocate a one-state solution in which Palestinians would seek their rights within the Israeli state?
Oh, fun times for that.
Well, Jordan has historically been committed to a two-state solution, and it is still a viable solution if Israel does not go ahead with annexation. If it does, it's creating new facts on the ground that will undermine the two-state solution. And by
Creating
undermining
new-
the two-state solution, we need to know
got
what
paint
is
all
the
over me.
plan that does not undermine
Very bad,
long-term
too. It's
peace
like
and
in my
stability in
skin
the region.
cracks.
And I don't think there is one.
Prime Minister, as you probably know, some
Maybe
figures on the
we
Israeli
all
right
just
have
get
been
along.
asked, when you take land in the occupied West Bank, what happens to the people? Do you end up with stateless
here we
people,
go,
or
here we
as
go,
you
here we
mentioned,
go.
an apartheid
Yeah, that's some
state?
crazy ass
and
shit
one
right
answer
there.
given by figures on the Israeli right is, well, the Palestinians can become Jordanian citizens with Jordanian passports, and in fact, they once did that. Would you accept it?
That's a pipe dream. That's wishful thinking. That's not going to happen. The whole Jordanian society, starting from His Majesty the King to the government to the people, are steadfast about this. Jordan will not be Palestine. Palestine is a state that needs to be on its own territory, and Palestinians. So we are unified with the Palestinians on fully rejecting the idea of transfer.
Do you think the Trump administration
Pipe
is
dream
hearing your
of getting
concerns?
along, of just saying like whatever.
Jordan's relationship with the U.S. is strategic, and we communicate all the time. And there's a
I mean, it would have been
common
different if they're
understanding
nice people, but they're
of
not.
our
So I get it.
constraints and their constraints,
And the racism, and
an
then it's like, oh, I'm
understanding of
Palestinian,
where
well, I'm
Jordan
Jew.
stands on this issue. So the
I don't know what the other
strategic
country is right
nature
now.
of that relationship allows us
This
to
paint is so hard to get
coordinate,
off.
express our views, and have our agreements and differences every now and then.
But do you think they hear your concerns specifically about annexation, Israel's promise to annex parts of the West Bank?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah!
His Majesty the King has expressed his concerns about annexation, unilateral action in every international forum that anything short of a two-state solution will
I gotta look that up. What the hell is a two-state
you know
solution?
What it would do? It will close the whatever hope, prospect for hope there still is, and when hope disappears, frustration and anger, and that tends to and has in the past led to extremism, and we've seen extremism in the region, and as also we've seen around the world, extremism also becomes global. So everybody will pay the price of this.
Do you think you're being taken seriously by the United States?
No.
Steve, I think I've answered your question. We've made our views very clear, and that's what we do in every setting with our strategic partners.
One other thing I want to ask about, the Trump administration has attempted various moves against foreign students, international students in the
here we
United
go.
States. The Trump administration has also made moves to reduce legal immigration, setting aside illegal immigration. They've moved against legal immigration. And I'd like people to know that
Against
you
legal.
were educated in the
Legal
United
immigration.
States, which is true of a lot of people who've risen to senior positions in countries around the
sense that we were a
world.
bunch
What did
of
you get out
racists.
of your U.S. education?
Well, my own individual experience
We were
was,
born of racism,
studying in the
so
United
we're still
States was a
racist.
huge benefit for me because it was a
You can
context
use the
in
excuse
which
of Corona all you
students
want,
from
but
all over the world were
he was
there.
doing this before
We learned a
Corona,
lot
so
from each other, about each other.
yeah.
But also it was a great opportunity
Yeah,
for
Corona is
American
just pushing this
students
more
who
forward,
had a chance to
give him
meet
more power,
students from the
'cause people
world
are
and
scared.
learn about the world.
But we
so
see how
that's,
stupid it
that's,
is.
my own experience.
Well,
Prime Minister Omar Razaz, thank you very much for
the
the
one,
time.
the ones that
Thank
you
you,
know,
Steve.
He is the head of government under
understand
Jordan's
what
King
evil
Abdullah.
is.
That's all for now.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do this every night just to catch up on news and also have just fun content to have content. So yeah, and you'll probably hear my opinions about the news and what I think about different shit. I'm gonna go look up that two-state solution thing because I have no idea what that is, and that's some interesting shit. What was your favorite news story from Goggles? Tell me in the comments below. Remember to do all that thing if you want me to get known and, you know, get YouTube to pay me one day so I can do this forever if you like it. But yeah, doesn't matter. But yeah, take care everybody. Wear your mask always, and shame the people who don't by just pointing at them. And it's like, there's one right over there. There's right over there. Alright guys, bye.